Okay, another weekend, we're doing something different once again. This time, we're going to be talking about life in Florida, a weekend up in North Florida, and how different it is from South Florida. We're getting after that next. Weekend getaways are everywhere in Florida, and we take these little stop-offs every so often, explore the state, see what's different. And this week we decided to come up to North Florida. We're up in Fernandina Beach. Yeah, a little different to say, Amelia Island, but we're staying in this resort behind, and that little cottage right down there. And we get to experience something completely different. So if you're looking for different, Florida's got many different places to experience it. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida. Not today, but generally. And if you're looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is the channel for you. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the little bell to make sure you're notified every time, and go ahead and go to our nextfloridahome.com or our mobile app, our Next Florida Home. Get yourself registered with a property search and start experiencing some of the things that we have to offer. If you aren't able to find the answers to the questions that you have, you've got to do what everybody else is doing. Call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. Okay, so one of the first things you'll notice in this area is the ocean is rougher. It's also colder. They have waves here where they will post places that'll teach you how to surf. Well, that's not my strongest suit. I'm not great with balance, but it would be cool to learn. You also see these sand dunes all up and down the coast, and they are built by the winds that come off of the ocean. They just push all the sand up in these hills, and they're covered with this seagrass that you see, but absolutely beautiful. They're just coming into sea turtle season, just like we have. And that only means that we have to watch our lights, turn them out by 8 p.m. so the turtles don't come up to the buildings, just like in Southwest Florida. So similarities do exist, but this is where it's a little bit different. Now I will say traffic is a bit lighter up here, and there's actually courteous drivers. They will move out of the left lane and let you move on by. That's amazing. If we could teach that in Southwest Florida, we'd be so much better for it. Quick update for you. What I said in the video about people moving over up in the North Florida area, not so much. This guy's been doing this to us for the last 5 or 10, and I think this guy's getting tired of it, so moving on. Anyway, the other caution for you if you're going to be driving up in this area, once you get past Tampa, you will notice that there are a lot of state police. So they will be monitoring you closely, and that's one of the things that I was probably paying the most attention to. A little more chill on this drive up this time, but as you're going south of Tampa, you're not going to see it so much. I actually got this tip from Wesley, so Wesley, thank you so much for telling me, because it put me on guard driving up through this area. One of the biggest differences I noticed here is the styles of the homes and neighborhoods. They're so beautiful here. Whether it's on the beach, whether it's just going through some of the rolling hills, the canopies of trees, absolutely amazing. Now remember, this is on Amelia Island, so it's going to be a little bit different than, say, Jacksonville itself. Jacksonville's a big city, and I'm going to talk real briefly in a minute about Jacksonville and some pricing, but you'll find that the neighborhoods have a completely different feel. Almost reminded me of being further north, almost Pennsylvania at times. So it is pretty cool to experience. Can't say I'd want to live here all the time, because we're going to talk to some of the other differences that are going to make it feel extremely different from Southwest Florida. Now right now I did a brief search. I do have access into the MLS up to the Jacksonville area. I was able to find approximately 70 listings, and the median price that I could find up here was just over $300,000. Now I did the same thing for Southwest Florida, because I wanted to be able to evenly discuss this and show you how it compares. But our median right now in Southwest Florida is just over $400,000, right around that $425,000 mark. So it is definitely more expensive to live further south, but I think we can all agree it's also going to be a bit more tropical down in Southwest Florida. Okay, we found a little courtyard here in the downtown area, and one thing I forgot to mention to you, what they're going to call gnats, we know as no-see-ums, and they are out all the time. There is no morning, night, afternoon. Seems like they get worse the closer you get to the marsh, but it's all downtown. We tried to go eat yesterday. As soon as we sat down, we had to get up and leave because the no-see-ums were so bad. And now we're putting on some Skin So Soft, hoping to keep them away for this afternoon, because guess what? Cinco de Mayo. We're just trying to partake in some festivities and see if we can outrun these no-see-ums. One of the very cool things that I forgot to put in the video, the marshes here are ridiculous. Here's what I'm talking about. Another thing I noticed is that the landscaping and the overall picturesque nature of the area is completely different than down south. The trees are different. We have a lot of oaks and pines up here. There are going to be some palms. I think a lot of them were actually planted just for the effect, but nowhere near what's in Southwest Florida. But the canopies of trees and the grass stays really green here. I think the temperature difference is what helps in that case. The rolling hills are a welcome change. The canopy of trees are a welcome change. I will say bicycling is a bit harder. We hit some hills yesterday and had to adjust ourselves to take that in, but it is a nice experience, something completely different. And if you're somebody that's a skateboarder or you do any kind of those wheeled sports, you'll probably love it to a whole different level. Now, sunrise versus sunsets. We do have sunsets obviously in Southwest, and they have the sunrise here. So it's a completely different nature of the way you're taking it in, because sunrises, you're probably not sitting down with a cocktail at that point to enjoy it. Whereas in Southwest Florida, for a sunset, we get to sit down and have a cocktail. So that part's going to be definitely different. But if you're a morning person, you love to get out with your coffee for the sun coming up, having it come up over this ocean is absolutely gorgeous. It's been a wonderful experience to see it, but again, it's just a bit different than doing it in the Southwest. Another thing I noticed here is there's still Southern charm, and there are accents. You'll talk to people here and think you might be in Georgia, but that was another welcome change, because we don't hear a lot of it where I am in Southwest Florida. But the accent's very cool. People are very nice here. But again, we're doing this in a vacationing aspect. So we're going to places like restaurants and resorts where they're paid to be nice. So I don't want to say that's a positive or a negative. I don't want to say it's true or false with that much certainty, because I haven't had enough time here to really say. But I will say everybody's been kind, very kind to us. And once again, those accents, I love them. Here's another big difference, water quality. If you have a problem with the Cape Coral cocktail down in Southwest Florida, go to a restaurant, it just tastes horrible. It's not like that here. In fact, even when your irrigation system's going off, you're not smelling the rotten eggs, the sulfur that comes off of it like we have down in Southwest Florida. So definitely one of the perks of North Florida is the water quality. Now, I'll give you a downside up here, the temperature difference. I mean, I snapped it the other day off of my weather app, and it was over 10 degrees difference in temperature. So it can be quite a bit different. We didn't bring a lot of cold weather clothes up here. We almost wish we would have brought a little bit more with us, but we're getting by. We only have a few days in total, and I think we can manage with what we brought, but temperature will definitely be a factor. So if you're looking for subtropical, you still have to get below Tampa. And one of the things that you'll find that's not going to change on either coast is seafood. If you're near the water, you're going to have a plethora of options for seafood, and that's no exception for being out here on Amelia Island. We found a couple great places for it, and the food's been wonderful so far. So if you're looking for a new destination, we're about 6 hours away from Southwest Florida, and that's going just over the speed limit. Like I said, I was having to watch it a little bit more this time, but if you're looking for a place to take in beautiful views and have wonderful experiences, hey, Amelia Island, Ferdinand Beach may be an option for you. Okay, so that's a little bit more about living in Florida and the differences between the North and the South that I found on a weekend away. If you've got any other questions about living in Florida and need more direction, check out one of these other videos. But if you've got a question that can't be answered on the videos, again, pick up the phone, call, text, or email. I've got your back when moving to Gulf Coast.